Ooh, woo, we just had a dozen of great releases from the WWE. Uh, Even though the most important ones are Strowman and Aleister Black, there was also Buddy Murphy, Ruby Riott, and Lana. So that's already a total of 13 releases of WWE superstars. Imagine how the 2K guy got to feel like, what the dude, I just finished the models. Imagine, like, there'll be more alumni and legends than actual active roster. Now, I don't really care about some of the releases because most of them were either utilized on TV, wasn't really drawing, and they take it like, oh, this is young talent. Most of these guys are assumed tenure in the company and really didn't do much. Ruby Riott can just go back to the Indies. Lana's gonna just go over as like probably she will still not do her fake Russian gimmick. She could probably do some kind of influencer like Tenille Dashwood ripoff gimmick. But thanks, Lana's more attractive. That'll fit more, especially the notoriety with Miro. So we all know what's gonna happen probably with Lana, or she's gonna do other stuff that's gonna probably make her a lot more money. So I'm not worried about Lana. We know Tommy End or Aleister Black's jobber ass is gonna go somewhere else because he really wasn't doing much, guys. They tried to do the pick a fight with me garbage. He only had a good series of matches with Buddy Murphy, and then we forgot that he could barely talk, didn't have a definitive look, and had zero no, I'm not even gonna say charisma, like a sense of mythos into his character. Like, what's the gimmick about? What's Aleister Black? Just tattooed, skinny jobber that just does kicks everywhere, and no other depth into his background. And it's not like you can like be quiet and like, oh, creative is gonna do everything for you. There's most times where people can be vocal about their creative position of how they want to make their character. So you can't denounce that Aleister Black hasn't had an opportunity over these last like 2 to 3 years he had on the main roster of what to do with his character, and he just wasn't doing enough to draw at all. They tried to give him the tails, but the crippling ripoff Bray Wyatt, well produced sideshow garbage promos, and he came around like running, like just jumping Biggie after the title match, just for him to get released just a week later. Imagine how that has to feel. And how underblown the headlines were after Aleister Black returned after all his promos. Nothing. Another big one is Braun Strowman that actually had some moments on WWE TV where even like anti-Smart fans just cared about Strowman because at least he was big, had a powerlifting background, could actually like shout in a promo. It just looks like a pro wrestler. So that's the only positive I'll give about it. Anything else, Strowman had the most forgettable title reigns. When your first WrestleMania moment is winning a tag team championship with with a child, just for the like pleasement of a referee, and then nothing else pushed over your career other than being the jobber to Roman Reigns feud. That's about it. Other than I'm not finished with you, and there was no other upside to Strowman. Could barely talk. He couldn't get you interested in a title match against Goldberg because he had to be the replacement, and then have forgettable feuds with the Fiend, Miz, and Morrison. And you're telling me that people care about? Imagine this fake care about Strowman. They're probably going to do a fake give Ruby Riott a chance. Ugh, it just disgusts me like how like poorly in depth like the fan base is for WWE at this point. And just knowing like people are gonna give these fake pretending to care. The only person that I see that has to pick up probably a different job than pro wrestling is either Lana or Strowman. Because at least I know Strowman's an adept powerlifter, and at least he looks in better shape than he was looking like a buff, fat moron that just came around just trying to pretend that he's a cool heavyweight. Even though I see him cosplaying, wearing Halloween costumes, cross dressing. The guy, I just can't I can't take him seriously. Even how much they want to be like the White family when he was part of it for like, I don't know, under a year, was actually that effective over his character. There's nothing that particularly interesting over Strowman because they kept flopping him up and under the main event roster card and knew if they put him to jobber territory, especially for a monster like him, imagine how inconsistently that's going to be booked, and he's probably going to waste another 5 years in the roster knowing that he'll never be a top guy. So I thought it was a smart way to release him. And don't get it twisted, even though I wish for these guys to get released, it's not like they can't find any other lines of work. I know it's tough out there, but I'm sure that there's always another option. And I wish the best for these guys, but this is the best reason. Like, you really think that the next 5 years is going to be carried by Strowman? Or Lana, a chick that can barely even talk over the mic? We know how she can do with angles, where it's just all about her, involving Rusev being facing on Lashley in a fair angle and how cucked out he was. And now she came over in these crappy table getting hit on the commentary table like 12 times against Nia Jax and then tagging with Naomi. Like, that's already like irrelevance hell. Like, she's not going to be like a potential top female star. And it's sad too because Lana is a good looking chick, seems to have some decent publicity, has a good social media following, and, you know, actually married to a guy that looks like a pro wrestler. So that's she has a couple things going for her. Probably like her mic skills needs a bit of work because if she does that and just gets a better acting class, probably she could be a good manager or just do something else not involving wrestling. Because people think, oh, she wrestles. I mean, she's so green in the ring. Stop determining a person like they can't do any other position other than wrestle. Like, that's kind of like single-minded. And Ruby Riott, I didn't really know much about her other than Liv Morgan is hotter than her and Sarah Logan is just irrelevant, so I keep her in the roster. At least Liv Morgan's still there, mainly because she's hot, can wrestle, actually sounds interesting, and just more camera ready than Ruby Riott. Ruby Riott just looks like a lesbian. just just my opinion. But they got Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville has talent, so of course they're not gonna like get rid of her. So that's practically the standpoint of many releases. I don't really care about Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy literally was just notable for having good matches with Aleister Black and his forgettable ass cruiserweight reign, and then being in that dumbass Rey Mysterio angle with Seth Rollins, where they even had him in a relationship angle with Aaliyah Mysterio while she's already with somebody. That barely goes well or stays over long term, especially over like the inconsistent image changes like WWE want to be on. Like, they still want to be family friendly while they still want to do mature long term storylines. Like, it's not going to work out as much as you can while you're still trying to be so corporate. And Buddy Murphy just had nothing about him. Like, even during those ankles, he was like showing no other quintessential emotion to keep me invested. What is Buddy Murphy? Please tell me. This guy just does bicycle D's while doing average selling. Like, there's nothing interesting about Buddy Murphy. And now he's released with Strowman and Aleister Black. Now, the person that could have been a decent star could have been Lana or Strowman. Aleister Black, go to Ring of Honor. Just go to Ring of Honor. These guys just want to wrestle. Go to Ring of Honor. That's about it. That's all I can say. There's no quintessential it factor with Aleister Black, and then everybody just want to like be on his meat because he had good matches with a lower card jobber. Like that's not good, man. I know he tagged with Ricochet and had some fun matches, but other than that, like it didn't. Like why a character like Aleister Black tags with a babyface like Ricochet? That's already like inconsistent. Other than they were part of the Dusty Rhodes Classic, and that's just there was just no like interesting mythos to any of these people. So why would Vince carry them on the load if they're not even drawing anything for the fan base or for the company? And now I'm hearing over this Drew McIntyre slander like they're over pushing him. He's the only guy that looks like a top star. They're not going to inconsistently drop him over to the lower mid card. They know how effective he is as a good wrestler. Looks like a top star, can do a decent promo, and he just seems like bigger than he was back when he was the chosen one, the chosen one. So those are the positives why I can see you can keep McIntyre on the card. Probably if Strowman was taken more seriously, uh, actually had a gimmick and kept away from social media, probably he would still be there, and Lana just be a bit better. Just most of these people just not having any staying ability because they lack any other abilities other than their relationships in the business, or they're just good wrestlers, and they get released. Other than Strowman, nobody else, like I didn't expect to get released, other than probably Ruby Riott. That's about it. Like I expected Aleister Black to get released months prior. Buddy Murphy months prior after they finished the angle with him and Mysterio, and probably Lana because of course they had nothing for her after her BS underdog stories involving Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. So probably this stuff makes sense to the heavens, and probably you guys would be calling me an asshole. It's like, oh, you're wishing for people to get fired. No, I'm wishing for the company to know what's not working and what is. And these people are just not working. I understand you're staying. You want to like have quintessential staying bodies, but if they're not doing much or proceed for the product, why keep them? Get it for your thick skull. Other than that, this is just my opinion. I would report this the night when they got released, but I just wanted to get all my overall points in there and get everybody's opinion out there, so I can just think of my overall points. That's it coming from me. Thank you for watching.